Good morning.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the Funky Chicken back here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great Taco Tuesday and hope all your taco dreams come true. It is Tuesday, so that means Jerry Jones will be on 105.3 The Fan, and it will be interesting to see if he walks back some of the comments made by his son, Steven. Steven, who was talking literally about how the offseason is going to be difficult paying people. You know, we're already broke, like we always hear that song and dance that we ain't got no money. Also talking about evaluating being top heavy with the contracts because they have close to $100 million on IR and missing time that maybe we need to change philosophies, of course, before paying Micah Parsons. Now, for me, I look at this as the same old song and dance that we've been doing from D-Law, you know, after the, what do you call it? The Combine. No, it wasn't the Combine. Was it the Combine? No, it was the Senior Bowl that he literally came through and said, oh, we thought we had a deal done with the agent, you know, for about $18 million. You know, now they want 21, and they strung it out to D-Law didn't get a shoulder operated on until he got a deal, which hamstrung his season because he couldn't literally lift weights all summer. And as an edge rusher, you need strength in your shoulder. You know, then we had Zeke Elliott, of course. We're not going to reset the market with Zeke Elliott. You know, he's, okay. And then you turn around and you give him the biggest contract in football. And then, of course, you know, Dak's got to understand. He's got to leave money on the table for others, you know. And then they turn around, wait all the time in the world, and end up paying, you know, through the nose. So you get all this bullshit, and the players know all you have to do is wait. Wait, and you're going to get your deal. I hope that the Cowboys recognize that maybe they need to do things a little bit differently to get a different result. So let's go to 105.3 The Fan and hear what Jerry Jones has to say this morning, see if he helps to walk back his son, and then we'll get into it.
From Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones for the first time since the dominant win over the Carolina Panthers. It happens every Tuesday at this time here on Sean and Bobby. On Friday, Jerry on with a KMC Masterpiece at 10:30, and Jerry Jones is always brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. We got a lot to talk about, and some of the names that aren't always in the headlines with Odigizua, Leafau, the development of these young guys and the defense.
Yeah, different guys who were unheralded and have stepped up and played well and things like that.
Let's bring him in right now. Jerry Jones live here on Sean and Bobby 105.3 The Fan. Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
Good morning, Sean, Bobby, and great to be on this morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir. Congratulations on a very impressive, dominant win in Carolina. Just give us your thoughts on that performance.
Well, I'll start with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Good place to start.
Yeah.
Great place to start.
Mike Zimmer, really proud of what he's done, and they've done executing and putting in kind of use of our guys that Mike has had in mind. And candidly, I can go through many players, but I like what we're trying to do on defense and like the enthusiasm that we're playing. And, of course, Cooper Rush was a guy that I know we all thought against Cincinnati. We could have gotten a little more out of Cooper. But, boy, is he making a huge difference in terms of really the running game. His before snap calls, his lining up, what he's doing actually has opened that running game up for us.
Jerry, you've had a lot of different unheralded guys, undrafted free agents, young players step up in the last couple weeks. Why do you think things have gelled better over the last month compared to when you had more of your big-time investments available to you earlier in the year?
Okay, before we go, I see where this is going. Understand we played the Giants that have 2 wins. We also played Cincinnati that have 4 wins. 5 wins. We also played the Commanders with the left hand up, a team that we have owned forever, and we played the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to say tamp the brakes a little bit here, guys. Tamp the brakes.
I think you've got to look at level of competition
Oh,
the
he
days
said it. Okay.
that we played it. Baltimore was really playing well the day we played them. So was New Orleans. Baltimore still playing well. Of course, New Orleans has stepped back a little, but not a little, but a great deal compared to the day we played them. But we hit some teams riding pretty high there early, and we were out of whack, I think, on both sides of the ball during those games.
Jerry, this is turning into a great fan debate, and I'm curious how you weigh them. Having more of your pieces so far early in the year against better competition and losing those games the way you did versus the resolve and the depth stepping up here and not quitting against some lesser competition. How do you weigh and balance all that together?
Well, first of all, I'm going to be very practical and say I don't like that we've ended up with the record we've got. I don't care what the ebbs and flows of when you're playing your best or when you have basically had all your players out there. If you're going to look at player availability, all of that is gets right down to where we are right now in the standings. And this is not where you want to be. It's not where we'd planned to be. And so I think that's got to be looked at and weighed carefully. How did you get here? And I don't care how well you're playing. Now, give us 2 or 3 more ball games, and if we're sitting here and we've won out, and we're knocking on that door and could get in that playoffs,
1%
that's
chance.
The time to have a conversation as to whether or not you would have preferred it early, late, or in between. That's the great thing about a 17-game season. That's the great thing about pro football. It's pretty. The competition is really very level, and everybody's got good players. Everybody gets them hurt. Everybody's got a chance to compete with the number of teams we put in the playoff. All of it has made it the best I've ever seen it as far as the competition.
Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones joining us here on 105 through the Fan. So, Jerry, when we reference those players stepping up, those undrafted free agents, those young guys stepping up and playing like that feels like really great diamond mining from Will McClay, your personnel department. It seems like there's interest every offseason in Will from other teams. Have you ever allowed yourself to consider, okay, how, Will McClay or some of your scouting staff leaving would challenge what you guys have built, or do you just say, I'm not going to put myself in that headspace until it's absolutely necessary?
No, you don't do that. You lose people. When you're successful, no matter what, that creates quite a demand for your people, and that's the NFL. And you see, you have a system in place that you want to reward anybody doing well, but we've got, you can have a lot of people involved on who gets on the field. And then you've got a lot of people involved that when they get on the field, how they play, that's your coaching staff. So you can't look at it as though any one person is got the responsibility for really this year. Very candidly, I don't know that you want the responsibility of a lot of at least I haven't read from you guys, the media, that anybody's doing any favors out there as far as
there's nobody doing favors for you.
Well, Jerry, I'm going to possibly do you a favor right here and ask if you'd like the spike the football over the running back argument that we've all talked about all year long. Has Rico Dowdle's play allowed you to spike the football with the Derrick Henry stuff and all the Zeke criticism throughout the year?
You know, this was a question that came up in our personnel coaches meeting that we have usually after every ball game, and it came up yesterday. And Rico and his success relative to how we're blocking them. We're blocking them different. We're blocking it up different. Our quarterback is really, as I said earlier, our quarterback is really helping our running game by helping identify what we need to do when we get to the line of scrimmage. But we've made, again, like I say, some adjustments. But we've also seen the very best of what Rico does the best. He can hit those soft spots, and he hits it violently. But it's a combination of things. And then you've got to be able to rush really reads quickly. He makes real quick reads out there. And he makes quick reads after the ball is snapped, of course, as well. And those are giving us some plays. I know a lot of people say, well, but I think his accuracy could use some improvement. And, of course, there's always room for improvement in anybody. But a combination of things, not only blocking it up, but of, let's say, giving them the ball. All of those things are making that running game go, not to take anything away from Rico. Rico's issue has been his availability. He's been outstanding. He's got about as much explosiveness when he picks a spot. He's got as much explosiveness as anybody we've seen, and we saw that last year, and we've seen it the year before. We just didn't avail ourselves of it because of some of his availability.
Jerry, our teammate here at the station, Brian Broaddus, a guy who worked for you for a number of years, he was talking recently, and he had said, man, I hate the idea of developing players like Oso Odigizua or Rico Dowdle, and then you have them leave in free agency, and you see some other team reap the rewards of the work that you put in. When you see those guys playing as well as they are, knowing that they're impending free agents, does that thought cross your mind, too, of I would hate to think that this work we've put in to help these guys grow might end up somewhere else?
Well, that's zeroing in and good. It's a good thing to do. That's zeroing in on the player itself. What goes with leaving is how it fits in your cap and where you are, and that happens. Look at Pollard. Pollard's there with Tennessee, of course. And my point is, welcome to the NFL. You're basically, I was noticing Bill Belichick the other day, and the article was talking about his going to college and going to the collegiate game. And basically it's one of just really rotating players and to a big degree. And he's excited to see how that really fits his idea of how to put a team together. And so I think you're seeing where you're evolving that you're going to have a lot of movement in players.
Jerry, we've talked a lot about the future of Mike McCarthy this year, and obviously we know Mike Zimmer's also got an expiring deal. As you evaluate their performance down the stretch, do you view McCarthy and Zimmer as kind of tied together?
Well, in a way I do, and especially after the last ball games. And but I think you're seeing the best of Mike Zimmer. And maybe I shouldn't say that. You're beginning to see some of the best, but maybe the best is still ahead of us. But he's been real impressive now, putting that defense together with the attrition that we've had with availability with our players. So I give him that. Mike, I don't know how you can not say that his team has shown that they'll handle adversity, and he can get you there with the injury situation impacting the availability of those players. I hate to keep repeating that, but it's so obvious. And yet have that team playing at the level it's playing. So, I give them both high grades this year.
Jerry Jones brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. I don't know how many times in our 15 years we've had you react to Stephen Jones headlines. So it's Stephen in the news over the past week. We'd love to get your comment on, number one, Stephen suggesting that this upcoming offseason, Jerry, could be a little bit tight with the budget as last offseason was. Could you just address and comment on that?
Here we go.
Well, I think that I'm going to say that all seasons, when you're rolling with the expense that you have at the quarterback position, and I'm not just talking about the Cowboys, I'm talking about all teams. When you've made that kind of commitment, it's different than when you're dealing with a period of time when your quarterback isn't one of the higher paid players. And that's, I'm doing this generically. I'm not doing it for Stephen or doing it for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm doing it generically.
Yeah.
Anybody that is paying the premium price for the quarterback has got some tightness and some frugality involved in their salary cap, period. That's the system. And can that be done and successfully and really done in a way that gives you every bit the chance to go to the Super Bowl that others have? Absolutely it can be. And but it's just done with a recognition that you've got to make that work. We've really laid it in to at least two of our players this year, and I wouldn't redo that if I could redo it 1,000 times, because between Lamb and Prescott, we've got two cornerstones of how we're going to be playing ball over the next 4 or 5 years. That's a good thing, and I'm excited about it. But it's going to cause us to have to be real good managers as we go forward.
So, Jerry, I'm fully admitting this is way above my head. I can't do the math. I don't pretend to understand the math. But different capologists on social media and out there that follow football say,
they're asking some real
the
questions.
Cowboys can just flip the switches. You flip Dak, you flip Lamb, you got $100 million to spend. All you got to do is flip the switches. What do you say to those mathematicians?
Nothing. I agree. Flip the switches, and you've got what you got, but you can't. You've got a limit as to the availability of the under the cap when you flip those switches.
Yeah.
I got, and I know I'm taking liberty with your flip the switch comment, which I'm not opposed to that type of definition, but still, you make your choices. I think they're saying the same thing. You make choices, and you see how you're going to manage your cap when you've. It's a different management when you've got the higher-priced player at quarterback.
Jerry Jones here on the Fans. Stephen also said, look, we with NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, we got to have a conversation about how much you pay some of these top, 5 to 10 players. Some took that as a slight towards Micah, since he's theoretically the next one up. Can you comment on what Stephen had to say about that top-heavy spending, and particularly Micah Parsons, who said he wants to stay here no matter what?
He did not in any way say that Micah Parsons was at issue looking ahead at the future at all. He did not say that. And by the way, I didn't hear what he said, or
I don't listen to Stephen Jones.
But I know he didn't say that, because that's never been uttered in this organization.
It's never been uttered.
We don't have a future with Micah Parsons.
Jerry, Micah talks about his great relationship with you, and he goes, about my contract, 40, 30, I don't see a big difference. My agent may not want to hear that. Is that music to your ears for negotiating purposes? 30 is no different from 40?
Listen, the music to my ears is, first of all, when I've heard Micah criticized for anything he might have said or how he expressed himself. And when I ask about it, I've never been critical of it. Anybody that's the poor daddy he is, and anybody that puts it out like he puts it out every time, that's trite to take anything or comment negatively about anything he's saying. obviously, he is highly visible and says a lot. And when you say a lot, take it from somebody who says a lot. Hey,
Yeah, we know you say a lot.
then that gives a lot of fodder. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's real interesting that he could be the player that he is and have the views that he has. I'll be very candid with you. If I were a fan, I'd listen to what Micah Parsons got to say because it's real informative, and he enjoys the heartbeat of the team, and because he is, in a way, a major part of the heartbeat of the team.
Well, Jerry, since you said that, I got excited when I heard Micah say yesterday, I expect us to be big free agent players. So should we listen closely to that since you just suggested it?
Okay, here we go.
Those generic things. How do you you define big free agent players? How do you define that? Numbers, financial, but even your capologists that you're talking about, I'm sure will tell you that every team has its limit, and how you spend that around, if you're fortunate enough to have some guys that aren't in free agency that you are paying, the cap does not distinguish. Well, you get to pay your own players, plus you get to have what everybody else has got in free agency, including the ones that aren't playing their own players. Well, that's a complete BS, and not to be cynical about it, but it's pretty easy for everybody. Everybody gets up, and everybody understands the amount of money they have in their bank account and what they want or what they might owe. Everybody gets that, and under the rules, you have to spend within that. If you go outside of it, they don't even ask. They just take the player at the bottom and they start cutting them up for you, all the way up the ladder until they get to the room where you're no longer over the cap. So it's a very bright line.
Cowboys owner and GM Jerry Jones joining us here on 105 through the Fan. Jerry, Trayvon Diggs was shut down for the year. He's going to undergo knee surgery. Clarence Hill reported over the weekend that the team was unhappy with the way Diggs attacked his ACL rehab last year and into his offseason. What are your thoughts on that report?
Again, you wouldn't have anybody in our organization ever, not the ones that know anything about his rehab, and not everybody knows that. But you wouldn't have anybody make that kind of comment. I can assure you that nobody from within the Cowboys said that.
Jerry, how are you feeling about Trayvon's timeline? Is it just way too early? Or are you thinking training camp or start a season for a return?
Well, again, I could not in any way that rehab and the time connected with the rehab can be really dramatically different for each player, and with the same injury. And so you're pretty. You obviously can see, and I can, that he's out for the season. But when he return next year, would be the same circumstances in trying to predict when Overshown would be back. These injuries in late season, when you've got this season that, for all practical purposes, begins really in camp the following year. A lot of these injuries are, by definition, year-long rehabbed recovery length. And so you can do the math. That pushes it into the year.
All right, Jerry, last one. I want to finish up with a final taste of that Carolina victory. Xavier Legette, their receiver, says that he eats raccoon, and that set the food world ablaze. We talk about hunting and game with you. Have you ever had raccoon or anything similar, which would shock a lot of other non-hunters or game eaters?
I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes, it's not uncommon at all. I'll tell you something that
raccoon.
One of my favorites is squirrel. and it's
I like
wonderful.
Squirrel.
My mother could do a great job of it, and we all had our favorite pieces. And my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just my sister and I as far as siblings. My mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man.
You eat
And,
squirrel's brains?
Delicious, seriously.
My dad loves cow
My
brain.
sister always got it, or my dad.
The fight over the brain. Jerry Jones
Okay.
delivering like no one else can. Thank you for addressing all the topics.
Wow.
Congratulations on the dominant victory, and good luck against Tampa.
You bet, guys. Have a good day.
There he is.
Okay, so Jerry Jones likes squirrel's brains. Okay, so a couple of things in here. Basically, I didn't hear what Stephen Jones said, and it's ludicrous basically to think that Micah Parsons isn't going to be here, and so on. Diggs, shutting down the whole argument of, people saying that Diggs didn't work hard enough to come back from his ACL. Interesting. Another note in this was, his praising of Cooper Rush and the pre-snap calls and so on, and helping the running game, basically kind of crediting Cooper Rush for us being a better running team, which is kind of interesting. But then going on through, because I took it as, or the way people will take it is, Cooper Rush understands how to run the offense better than Dak. But then going back and saying that, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are cornerstone pieces. And I've got, stuff I want to reiterate about Micah and CD, because we always have the fans that say, let's get rid of these guys, trade them. But when you trade, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get something that's going to be better than what you have. You don't trade to go backwards. And I'm not sure that trading, the old saying, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. When they say, hey, you can get 2 number ones, for Micah Parsons. Well, Micah Parsons is in the hand. You don't know what those 2 number ones could be. You don't know. Could end up being bust. And then you look back and say, damn, we really screwed the pooch on that. But we'll see where all that goes. So this is Jerry Jones was on there for quite a while today. And we're going to go ahead and end this here because we're closing in on 30 minutes. All right, good people. I'll see you soon. Peace.